Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Building Body Strengthening Minds with your host, Tony Greco and Joe Sabusco. Joe's here in the Tony Greco sweatshirt. I hope you're getting some dough for that.
Well, I got paid for this. So.
You'll get some money for that.
Some residuals.
Got $25 for wearing this fucking shirt.
That's it.
Wow.
I don't know. That's your empire that pays that. I don't know.
The empire. The fitness empire. Once again, Tony Greco.
Looks good on you.
How are you, Tony?
I'm doing great, Steve. How you doing?
Good. You're well represented with TG Athletics. Got the jewelry, got the sweatshirt.
That's right.
The pants have a TG on them there somewhere?
Yes.
Okay,
All
good. The
TG'd
socks?
out, yeah. No.
Nothing on the socks. Okay. And I don't want to see the underwear.
You got the Sensat today, though, I see. Eh?
Yeah, I mixed it up a little bit.
Again.
You know?
You had it last week.
All right. And I've worn this before, I think, too. But I was planning on wearing my hoodie, but Joe keeps the studio about 10,000 degrees. So
I love heat.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And our special guest today is Allan Porter, and he's from Porter Media. Allan, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
He's a beast, Allan. Beast in the gym.
A beast in
trying
the gym?
Trying to.
I see.
Trying to look like this guy.
Trains like an athlete. This guy's a beast, honestly.
Oh, yeah?
I worked out with him.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been working out with Tony for?
Almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's incredible. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll have to get you to be a client of Joe's as well at some point, right? Hey?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? So let's talk a little bit about what you do. Porter Media, give us an overview of what Porter Media does.
We are a performance marketing agency. So the idea here is clients come to us when they're trying to sell their products or service. We sell their products online, social media, Google, email, SMS. It's like online salespeople. Mm-hmm. So instead of being in person, we're online.
Is it work you like?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome. We work with some really cool brands. I took finance in school. It's not an area that I thought I would be working in, but it's fantastic. It's like a video game.
That's great. So we want to get into a little bit about social media today and some of the benefits of it and some of the ways it can completely drag you down in a myriad of ways, not just, from a business perspective, but I think about, kids and things. We've talked about it in recent episodes, how kids in the middle of their formative years and the way that it kind of drags them down. But how do you want to tackle it first? Do you want to go from the business perspective or from the mental health and wellness side of things?
Yeah, well, I think we could target the business aspect first, Allan, because there are some good advantages.
Yep.
And I mean, Joe and I talk about this pretty much every day, because everybody thinks that this is the way it is. And now you could use the advantages of it, the disadvantages, but maybe we'll start with just the advantages of it,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, everyone's connected to the device. Everyone has their phone on them right now. So you always have access to these platforms to engage and connect to people all throughout the world. As a business, there's no better way to show your product or service than these platforms. We do a lot of advertising. We don't really do a lot of organic stuff. We don't do a lot of posting, but you can pay a fraction of the cost to advertise to millions of people versus paying thousands of dollars to put it on a billboard to only put it to your specific locale. So, it's fantastic. It's game breaking for businesses.
Yeah, it feels like we can maybe use Lionscape, for example,
mm-hmm.
Joe's business, which is doing great. As maybe,
is it?
I think so.
On Tuesdays.
Yeah, okay. Tony and I have been on Joe a little because he's very old school.
Yep.
He goes by word of mouth and
Yep.
he loves it. His clients refer to other clients and his company does very well that
Yep.
way. Do you feel like Joe is leaving a little something marketing wise on the table by not?
Maybe not on social media, but on Google. There's people so Google, what it's going to do, you're getting people whenever you want to learn about something. We were just downstairs trying to learn about various different, whatever it may be. You're going to Google, you're typing it in. So if you're offering a service, particularly in construction, you want to be capturing that search traffic. Your idea and your goal is to be one of the first options to rank.
Right.
Bring them to your website, grab their name, email, phone number, so you can follow up with them. I wouldn't do social media. I mean, you can if you want to, but you're not going to get the ROI that you're hoping for. It's more for clout. It's more for just showing off almost, or showing you what you do. Maybe if people are searching for you, good opportunity for them to put a face to the name. But if I'm in your shoes, I think Google's the way to go.
How does podcasting rank with helping businesses?
Podcasting. Yeah. So it's
well.
no, it does well. So it's a couple different things. There's one, you have an audio aspect, right? So independent of, you can use the audio and repurpose that on Spotify, on Apple Music, whatever it may be, and people can listen to what you're saying. Okay, so that's one component. Two, you have the visual aspect, right? So if people actively want to sit down, watch your podcast, if it's a engaging show, it is opportunity for you to capture traffic that way as well. And then three, take your long podcast and split it up and put it on these social platforms. So cut it up into 10, 15-second videos and give people little snippets of the highlights from that 45-minute, an hour podcast. And that's a great way to market for it. So I think there is value in it. But different types of ways to consume the same content. You're going to notice those who are like TikTok centric and likes the quick bullet points, likes to be entertained, are going to love the short story kind of format. Those who, I don't know, like go for runs or working will listen to the audio right while they're working. Those who have a ridiculous amount of time in their hands will sit down and actually watch it on YouTube. I think there's a lot of value in it. And you can target many different parts of your audience.
That's great. And I think the thing that probably the gap that you fill is, okay, I don't have time to, do all this social media stuff, or maybe it's a money issue. Let's talk about that. How expensive is it to do a really good marketing job for your business?
It's tough. It's tough because people don't know where to start. Every page has a theme. I'm going to use Tony as an example, right? So your Instagram theme, your page is all about quick snippets, quick exercises around hockey players. I know exactly when I go to Tony's page, what I'm getting, who it's for, who it's talking about. There's no guessing. You look at businesses that are, I don't know, B2B, or maybe let's use construction as an example. Like, what are you going to show? Like, I guess you can show before and after. That would be your theme. So sure, like show what it looked like before some old project versus like afterwards. Whereas
I don't believe it would work. And the reason why is because we're a local business. We're a mom and pop shop. So a guy in Europe looking at my snippet
doesn't matter.
Has no value to me or to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think.
But
yeah, go ahead.
But the way you got to look at it is that here's a guy in Europe that's looking at that, right? Has a cousin in Ottawa. It's like, yeah, you've seen this guy in social media, this construction company. They do pretty good work. I saw their work. Now that's a filtered word of mouth, because that guy might call you, and really the recommendation came from a guy that saw you on social media. You see what I mean? And that happens. I think that happens a lot.
It happens for probably your kind of business, because you're like, it's a niche market.
Yeah. Plus, seen as
what I do, there's 5,000 companies that do what I do.
But seen is believing.
Yeah, hold on. Let me jump in there. So Brian Ballmer, okay. Now I know it's two different areas, but that guy, he's fantastic with marketing and being in front of his face is on everything. By working with him, you will pay a premium for the same service that you could probably pay a local individual who's probably just as good, because people want to work with him, because his face is out there. I would bet that if you invest into social media, you're not going to see the ROI in terms of like people reaching out, and you may at some point in time, but I bet you would be able to charge more, because people are like, oh, I want to work with this guy. I've seen this guy's face everywhere.
Well, people want to work with me because I don't charge more. I'm not that guy. I'm the Costco of what I do.
Fair enough.
That's true.
But that's your business model. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I sell volume.
Yeah.
I don't sell,
and there's a place for that. There's a place for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And somebody needs to get the word out about that, right?
Also true.
But I think social media for my business is too wide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's going to go too wide. And I think you're just taking up space for nothing, because I can't serve that guy in Vancouver. I can't serve that guy in Florida. So you're just taking up space. Instead, that if you're making bracelets or watches, anybody can buy it, put it in a box, and you ship it.
Yeah, that's true. He's refused work because obviously he doesn't have time to do it. Where it's like at the other end of town. There's been a lot of clients. They're like, yeah, can you do my...
Yeah, Orleans. I don't go out there. I don't have the crew. I don't have the crew to go out there.
Yeah.
Well, and
And that's all good stuff because it's part of who you are and what you want, which we're going to talk a little later too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this kind of marketing has worked very nicely for you. Allan just made mention of the quick cuts you do on your Instagram. You become something of an expert in that area. Wow. Choppity chop chop.
That's a lot of work. It's fun.
It is
a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ticky tack work, right? It's like really, but it's working for you, obviously. Because I mean, I talk to people all the time, and they've asked me, like, you know, they haven't necessarily listened to or seen the podcast, but now they're talking about those clips you're making, and so. It's obviously working, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the experience of, doing enough media, I think I just try to get the parts where it kind of catches the audience attention, right? And, cause people's attention span is like, well, some people 2.5 seconds, but it just
like
grabs
right
them.
now,
Yeah,
putting me to sleep.
I know. It just grabs them. So it's the things that's like, wow, I want to listen, right? And then hopefully the link, they can listen to it. And actually, I saw some of the audience on how long they're staying. The good thing about it is our viewers might be not as high right now, but they're staying a lot, like somewhere up to 32 minutes. That's pretty good considering the podcast is only like 40, 45 minutes. So I saw how long before they dropped off. That's something I was
really,
yeah. Wow. Yeah, you could see it. Yeah. So that's good. So that's a good thing. That means people are obviously listening into our
bullshit.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. So do you want to talk about we've talked about the many benefits of social media from a business standpoint. Do you want to dabble in the negatives?
I think there's a way to spin it.
Okay.
So, going to Tony's page, right? He's all about hockey players. He's showing the best, what the best hockey players do. If I'm a hockey player, I'm comparing myself to that hockey player. I'm thinking, well, fuck, if this guy can do it, why can't I do it? Now it's like, I got to work with Tony, or I got to figure out a way to get there. So it's a positive because it can be motivating, where it's like, well, if this guy can do it, like, why can't I do it? The reason I reached out is because I saw it on Instagram. Like that's literally why I reached out. I was like, fuck, like this
Tony's
guy,
a fucking guru.
I have to, like, I need to get my like edge back. I need my oomph back. But if I'm a hockey player, like, it's like, I would definitely be, like, work both ways, motivating, or it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. This guy's so far ahead. Like, I don't never train like this. So it can be defeating as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Just a quick question. How long did it take you to get brainwashed? Watching his snippets, like to say, you know what?
Brainwashed, Joe.
Take it easy. How long did it take? Like you saw 1, 2, 3?
Probably took me.
I'm just trying to,
you know what? Because we have a mutual friend, Jordan. It was probably 2 months or 3 months or something like that. But like, I don't know, was you posting about it? Maybe she was posting about it. And it was like, okay, didn't pay attention to it. And all of a sudden you see like the transformation, because it's little, like, you may not see because you work out every day, but you see from month 1 to month 3, the difference. I'm like, holy shit. Like I want to move like that. Like, especially being at a computer for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, like you need to move or else you're just going to rot there.
So 3 months it took you.
3 months about, I would say.
It's worth the investment, Tony. Tony, we gotta open up this cult.
Jeez, you're hilarious. No, but you know what? Going back to that social media, I think the other part we just wanted to tackle is the people that put stuff up there. Like, I mean, even the professionals, even going as far as like all these like quacky people out there that like kind of try to sell you like that snake oil and stuff, right? And I'm only saying this because I had this discussion this week with a really good friend of mine who's a doctor, and he said, especially on TikTok, like so many people put stuff out there, and seeing is believing, and a lot of people buy into it. And a lot of this stuff is not even tested. It's not even like, it doesn't have no scientific research on it, but people buy this shit like, and they think it's gonna, do wonders.
Because it's in a pretty package, right?
Yeah, it's in a pretty package.
The things you can do, like if somebody unscrupulous who doesn't know what they're talking about does something like that, it looks amazing. And that's part of why people buy in so much.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying is that a lot of these people that have even bought stuff, like, have had actually a lot of side effects, right? And you don't hear any of that because, you're looking at social media and you see the yachts and everything's fancy. It's like life is perfect. You know what I mean? But really the reality is I think the majority of those people are, that's not reality, like they fake it until they make it kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's, you could see it like, I think people that are listening to look at some of the stuff, and they got to understand that not what you're seeing is truly what is really happening out there. I can tell you that because I know some people that are out there trying to show to people that they're living the life. These guys are not living the life.
How do you get to the bottom of it? Like, how do you identify what's...
You can't, right? Like, you can't, because there's no control of it, right? I can go rent a yacht tomorrow and, post something with like 10 broads on the boat and with bikinis and, me and Allan and Joe with champagne. It's like, wow, that guy's living the life. Well, no, like I paid for that for one day. I'm not living the life. Like, it's just, but I could take snippets and keep posting like, man, I want to be just like that guy. You see that guy? He's living the dream. No, I'm not. I'm like over here in Mantic, Ontario. Like, I'm not living the dream. But that's what people buy into. And then it messes up with their brain. So like, one of the things we try to do is get people back to being focused with their lives and really understanding the way it really is.
That's why there's a lot of mental issues, right? Kids today are losing their minds with this stuff, right?
It's crazy. It's crazy because, like Allan said, they're on their gadgets all the time, so they think that that's the reality. So, this week I was talking to a few people, and we always talk about it, about how that whole, the youth, the generation, about the work ethics and being, persevering and focusing on them, on what it is that they're interested is gone. It's like someone's making up their mind. And part of it is what they're looking at, because what you're looking at, what you're focusing on, that's what you're feeling. And that's what you go to bed with, is those like subliminal messages in your brain that you think life is like that. And then what happens is, because you're thinking that it's not a reality, then you get mad, you get aggravated, you there's tension, because it's like you think you're in that dream, but it's like wakey, you're not in that friggin' dream.
But a lot of these people, they believe that they're actual that person.
Yes,
when they're not.
Yeah, and by comparison, Allan, a lot of people look at that stuff. That they're living the dream. The reality is they're not. But
I think that's why there's so much depression.
Yeah,
because people look at this stuff, right, and they say, "Fuck, why it works for him and not for me? Why is this guy in a mansion and I'm not?" Right?
The people who are well off are always dressing down, always don't want to be too loud, always like those are
the dangerous people.
Those are the dangerous people. The people who, either coming into money quickly or whatever it may be, or want to show off and live a lifestyle and show that living a lifestyle that's not true. Those are the ones that like are on social media and probably selling you something, probably selling you a course or some sort of program. That happens all the time.
Interesting. From a kid's perspective, we talked in a recent episode about how the effect that it has on kids. Just around the table, like, what do you think is a good age to introduce kids to social media with, all the messages that, oh, I'm living a great life here online and your life sucks by comparison, the standard FOMO that exists with social media and
so
young people.
When should a child watch a porno?
Whoa.
No, what age?
I don't know.
Because that's going to answer your question.
Not while they're under my roof, ideally.
No, but that's going to answer your question. When should a child watch a porno? When they're 21, right?
Yep.
Or 18, I guess. 18.
Adult age, at least, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
When can a child vote?
18.
That's when they can watch this shit.
You bring up a good point.
It is a good point.
It actually is a good point.
Yeah.
It is a really good point.
But how do you control it? You can't.
I'll tell you why I think it's a good point, too. I think it's a good point because, you see, like I was talking earlier, those messages with the youth, they stick into their brain, right? To their database. And those things are stored as emotions, because you look at something like, oh, wow, that's so cool. It creates a behavior at that specific moment as soon as you're watching something. So that now creates an experience like, yeah, I wonder how that would be like if I did that. And then that gets stored as an emotion in your brain. So what happens is that if you keep looking at that, when you're young, then all you're doing is you're creating all these emotions in your brain that you think that you're living in, but the reality will kick in, because then you're not living in that real world. So what happens? You got that clash of opinions. That's where you have the depression rate going way, way, way up, because you actually now have come to believe, because you're looking at this gadget every day, that the world is supposed to be like this, and you're living in it, part of looking at this thing and thinking it's a reality, but really that's not the way it is.
No, nobody's putting 3 hours of homework in their room online on social media, right?
Exactly. So then what happens, like, then you get mad, then you go, whatever, you complain to your parents. Why am I not like that? Then it creates this whole like
disrespect.
Yeah. It's
that's why these kids have no respect for their parents, for their mentors, their teachers, the people higher up.
It's different,
because they look at them and they say, no, he's driving a Toyota. That guy's driving a Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the kids, they lose that respect for the parents. Parents are hardworking people. They put a roof over their head. But, the kids are brought up to see all this luxury, right? And this is what's happening.
Yeah, they believe it. And to the point where even some adults are like that too. Like,
oh, yeah.
A lot of adults that work for professional establishments, they don't really know who they are and what they want. And people are listening to going, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, well, tell yourself, what do you really, truly want? I mean, I was speaking this week, and it's like, if you want to be that person, let's say financially you want to make whatever, $100 billion. Well, you got to put a realistic timeline, but you also have to put in the fact that what are you doing every day to get to that destination? Like, how are you doing this? Show me of that framework we talked about on our show, how that would look like. Let me see it. I know that, and if you don't, they say the law of attraction, it's the law of action. If you don't put action forward to doing that, chances are you're not going to get it. And that's why, every day when you wake up in the morning, you have so many thoughts that go through your mind. But if you don't change the way you think, you're always going to be in the past. Like, you're always going to wake up miserable, depressed, whatever the case may be. So one of the things I always say is that you need to visualize on what it is that you have that clear picture of. And the minute you find out what that is, then you could take actions forward to it. But until you do that, like, I'm sorry, but you're just going to be a lost cause. Like, you're just going to go through life as a person that's like on cruise control, just does the same thing all the time, right?
That's why I don't believe in these motivational places, like you go to these speeches and guy stands on top of that stage and does the whole.
Yeah.
It gets you drunk off of social media. Just going back to it, like it gets you drunk off of like, oh, this is what life could be. Like, I'm visualizing, like, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, but it takes away from the lack of action. Like, you just don't. Life just doesn't happen like that. Like, there's hours, days, years of work. You know what I mean? Of doing stuff where you're not being shown. You shouldn't be talking to, like, cut all friends out. I honestly, I'm a big believer in like being extreme. Cut all friends out, no family dinners, no, like, do whatever you need to do, put your head down to get what you need, and then you can start breathing for air. Then you can start bringing back socialization. But if you're just drunk off all, like, this fantasy of my life should be boats, yachts, whatever it may be, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, but that's 90% of the population.
It's true.
Yeah.
Which is why it's never
unfortunate.
You see kids with designer clothes and fuck the parents.
It's never easier
the
to
parents
get ahead.
Can't even afford that for themselves, and they're getting it for their kids because of the disrespect the kids are giving to the parents.
Exactly. It's so true. I see that more and more. It's actually insane. Well, look, I'm in the business. I got a lot of young kids that are, the parents are paying for personal training. Imagine back in the day, I asked my dad for personal training for football.
Yeah, but I don't think the kids want that. I think the parents want that. We already had this discussion, what I think of those hockey parents.
And hockey's a little bit different. I guess that's any sport too, though. Not even just hockey. It's any sport.
I walked in an arena. Like, it's not my thing. Like, I see these parents, like, fuck, they should be locked up. You know what I mean? Like, no, your kid is not going to make NHL.
Some should.
None of them will.
Some should.
None of them will. It's like none of you guys are going to win the lotto. It happens, but none of you are going to win it.
You shouldn't.
Don't wait for that fucking lottery ticket because I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So don't expect that kid to be an NHL player.
Right.
It ain't going to happen.
You can't think like that, though.
No. Listen, first you set reality.
Yeah.
Okay? Because what parents are doing.
What does that look like? What does reality
Parents
look like?
right now, what they do is they set the fantasy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So set the reality.
They tell the kids, get up at 4 a.m, Timmy, let's go because you're going to be the greatest hockey player in the world. Fuck off.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, there is.
No.
Yes, there is.
Why? So show me.
Because there's better values in life to teach your kids than to tell them that he's going to be an NHL player.
Hold on. If I'm 7 years old and I have a puck and I have a stick in my hand and every day I wake up, I'm your kid.
That's fine.
Right? What's the reality? Paint that picture for me. How are you going to get me to that next level? You obviously have interest.
What are you doing with that hockey stick, son?
I'm playing hockey, Dad. I love hockey. No
problem. Put on some skates and let's go. I'll take you to hockey. I'm not saying no.
Okay, well that's.
But I'm not going to stand and put myself in that stand and look at you.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen.
Look at you as a parent. Look at my son.
No, but hold on a second.
The fastest skater on the.
You know what's going to happen? Because what happened is once you see
tomorrow, you got a dreamer coming, right? Who wants his son to train with you, and hopefully he gets to meet that other guy who makes players, right?
Right.
We're not going to put names out there.
Right.
We already know the problem with that kid, his height.
Yes.
But the parents are still dreaming. Parents are fucking dreaming for that kid.
Because they're inspiring. Because
that's not inspiration.
That's hope, man.
That's not inspiration.
You're a Debbie Downer.
No, I'm not a Debbie Downer.
Yes, you are. You are. You're a Debbie Downer because
Christmas is once a year. And we can't even say Christmas.
This guy for real.
Hey, we can't even say. We can't say Christmas no more. We can't say Santa Claus, right?
No, but
we seem to be off the social media rail now.
No. It's all good. It's all good. No, but I kind of get what you're saying, but you do have to give that element of hope to that kid because that's what drives him, and that's going to lead him. That if he doesn't make whatever a AAA team, but at least he's got the work ethics which you have instilled in him.
I agree with that. Yes. I agree with
Tony, and what's your name again? Allan. Sorry, I have short memory, buddy. I'm going to tell you guys what you're saying is yes. What I'm saying is not that. I'm not telling you not to inspire your child in doing that. I'm telling you the parents should stop living that dream for that kid.
Or living vicariously through putting that pressure.
He's putting more pressure on that kid to skate more, to go faster.
Well, it's part of the. See, what happens is the way
those kids don't want to do what they're doing.
Here's what happens. What happens is when you see progress, it creates interest. So let's say, I'll give you an example. I'm just going to give you an example. You're that parent that thinks that. All of a sudden, your kid starts to, you get a guy, hey, Joe, listen, your son's friggin' doing good. Actually, at this level, believe me, he's above and beyond. All of a sudden, you see that progress.
Wait a minute. Who says that?
Some scout or somebody that
some bullshitter who wants to fucking take your money.
No. So then what happens is now your head starts to spin. You're like, you know what? I see he is better than most of the kids. So now now you get a letter saying, hey, look, your son's been invited to this term. Now all of a sudden you start to go, man, maybe my kid is probably better than I thought he was.
Yeah, but this weekend I want to go to a birthday party. There's a lot of chicks. So I really don't want to go to that camp this weekend. What do you tell your kid?
Well,
son, you got to live my dream. And no, you're not going to that party. You're going to go. But I don't want to do that. I want to go fucking look at broads at a birthday party. I don't want to tie on some skates because you're telling me to.
Yeah.
Tony, your dad never followed you. You became who you became because that's what you wanted to do. Yeah. Your dad's dream wasn't for you to be a gold medalist, a football player, a karate kid, a fucking.
I was supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a pharmacist.
Your dad didn't want that, right? Your dad didn't follow you to all your events.
No, right? Not one.
There you go. So what happened to you is what you wanted. The kid should do what he wants to do because a kid today wants to play drums, tomorrow he wants to play guitar, after tomorrow he wants to skate. That's fine. Do whatever you want.
But I'll tell you one thing. Now that I'm older, like my game was football. I wish I would have had parents in a way like today. And I can't blame my parents for this because obviously they didn't have much education that knew, how important it was to train.
You think you would have made NFL?
I think I would have had a better chance, yeah. Because well, look how great I did.
You're 5'6".
No. I'm not. First of all, I'm 5'8".
Okay.
But second of all, look in how good I kind of did for me without parents because they don't understand the game, and I didn't even know what football was.
Tony, that kid can be a great goalie tomorrow.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the height.
Well, some running backs in the NFL are 5'8".
Really?
Yeah, it's all about the speed. Speed kills. Look at the game in the NHL.
CFL right now, not NFL.
Well, CFL is.
Maybe that's.
But the point being is that you would have been probably better because you know what I mean. Like I think there's a balance that.
Tony, how many motivational speeches you do in a year?
Lots.
How many people of those that came to those seminars became successful? What was the ratio?
So that's not because of the seminars, because they were not going to be successful in the first place.
Oh, well, what am I saying? There's no parents behind that guy at that thing saying to that kid, "Oh, you got to follow this guy." You understand? This is what I'm saying. You can't make a person successful. You can't make a person wake up. You can't do that. You cannot make that person great.
You can make them better.
That person was great to begin with.
You can make them better.
Or they chose to be.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, it's probably not coming out in proper form.
So you're saying people are born with the drive. Right.
That drive is if
and I agree with that.
Giroud, I'm sure Giroud didn't grow up in an elaborate lifestyle like your other friend that are very wealthy, right?
Right.
But he woke up in the morning, right?
And went to the outdoor rink.
Yes, he tied on broken skates. I'm sure this guy didn't skate with the best skates in the world. Today, the parents, they overdo it. They overwhelm their children. I think they overdo it, and it's exactly like social media. It's just too much.
You're bad for my business right now.
It's just no, I'm not, Tony. Because there'll always be crazy people. But
so it does make hockey players better.
That's right.
Yeah, but yes, but that hockey player is going to want to play hockey.
Agreed. I think it has to be directed by the kid.
It's not the mom and the dad that takes him to the arena every weekend that's going to make that kid a hockey player. It's that kid that's going to be a hockey player.
And to your point, you're right about that. I'll tell you why. Because the kids that want to train, you see the effort in the training.
Yes.
The kids that don't want to train, or kind of are half and half, you see it in the effort. The kids that are like pushed there, you see it in the effort, because at the end of the day, no one's going to like to do stuff that they don't like. No one's going to like to put effort on stuff they don't want to do. You know what I mean?
How many chores did we do just to please our parents?
Yes, exactly.
They cut the grass. They go, fuck, I don't want to cut the grass.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go cut the grass. My old man's not feeling well.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah.
These kids, I see them.
Yeah.
They go to that gym. They go through the motions, but they're not there. Physically, they're physically there, but not mentally.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, but part of the everyday society of, people in general, these are more now adults, just to kind of shift gears, is that I think, my message is that people need to be focused and spend more time on focusing on what they truly want to do, because like you live life every day. Like I know Allan, like this guy's, and I just know him from coming to the gym, and I got to know each other better. But I think the attraction was because his work ethics I admire, because he is driven. He's there like at 6 o'clock. Not too many people are going at 6 o'clock in the morning.
He was born like that.
Yeah, but you got you thrive on that because you like that energy, right? If it was a negative energy that he didn't show up, he didn't work hard, like you wouldn't attract it. So my message is that he's obviously focused on what it is that he wants to do. And I think people in general should be focused on what they want to do. And every day they get up, they should have that gratitude, because no matter how hard you have it, I always say every day wake up and say 250,000 people are on their last breath. You're breathing, you're standing up, you're going to get your coffee, you're going to do you're starting your day. Someone is not. Be grateful. Right. Like reward yourself. Tell yourself how grateful you are. Continue those inner beliefs, because that's going to carry out the attitude going forward. If not, you're just going to rot away, because you're living in like negativity every single day. Who the heck wants to wake up to that? Right?
The other angle of this whole thing is that we're only on this planet for 80-something years in general. What a waste of time it is for a lot of people, that they're doing it without purpose. It's one thing if you're posting on social media something amazing that happened today. I got married today, blah. But people wake up in the morning, it seems, Allan, and it's like, okay, what do I need content today? What am I going to post today? And the amount of time that goes into it for no real goal at the end of the day, no real purpose to it. Like I eliminated TikTok because I was just like scroll, because everything was so interesting and fast and funny and da-da-da. It's like, okay, enough. I'd lose an hour.
Yeah.
And how much you guys are concerned about that part of it, that people is,
Well, I think time is spent on the wrong things. That's just my opinion. I mean, love is a big thing, right? You gotta, I think, love yourself, and then love what you're doing, and then love the people around you, because time is precious, and all those things are going to be like, that time is going by really quickly. So like you said an hour, right? So think if a person does that an hour each day at the end of the week, where that 5-6 hours is gone of that whole time that, you could spend with someone that you love before you know it, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, besides being healthy, loving yourself, and, taking the time to kind of love what you do, and then love your family and friends, really what do you really have left, right? And a lot of those things, those gaps are forgotten, because people are just so wrapped up in the wrong things, again, losing their focus, right? Still accomplish your task, but don't forget the important things, right? Go see your mom, go see your dad if they're still around. Be with people that you love and cherish. Some of the greatest moments, and love what you do and try to stay happy.
And how boring does grandma and your family and the people you love? They seem boring by comparison after watching TikTok.
You'll regret it. You'll regret it if you don't spend time with them. Because if
I say, let them tell you stories. And let me tell you, those stories are better than those TikToks because those are actual stories. It's real. It's what brought them here. It's what made them here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're real to you and me and our demographic, but is it real to like an 18-year-old today, I wonder?
Well, if you educate them, like somebody go, oh, those were the olden days. But the good thing about the past is it's not coming back, but you can learn from it, right? They teach history in school for a reason. They teach stuff that's happened several years ago that you can learn from it. And if it does come back, then hopefully you know how to deal with it. But your roots are your roots, and I cherish those things as I get older. Believe it or not, even more and more and more and more. So a lot of things that our parents did tell us back in the day, we didn't agree with them, but guess what? They were right. And that's because we thought we knew it all. Just like the teenagers now, they think they know it all. Oh yeah, that's the olden days. That doesn't, no. The reality is the realities. Things don't change,
Yeah, that's true. Teenagers through right time, though. I think we did that to our parents too, right?
Yeah.
You did nothing, grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but to a certain degree, right? We still had the respect.
More respect.
These kids have no respect. Like they believe in what is said to them, and
that's
they call you out on it.
And that's all the rules and regulations that they've instilled now. That's a big issue. Back in the day, you wanted something, you work hard for it. Now you expect something, and if you don't give it to them, then my mom, my dad, you know what I mean? That's BS. That's I don't.
Everybody's entitled.
Yeah,
to it,
that's BS. That's BS.
So, Allan, you're kind of you're considerably younger than us. So, I wonder how do you balance things? You're immersed in it; it's part of your business. But I'm sure there's part of you that tries to avoid spending too much time in that world.
Yeah. Social media has changed my life. Like social media, without it, it's all about attention. As a business. You go on social media right now, I'll go on Instagram, everything is a business. Everyone posting something has some sort of motive behind it, some sort of ask, whether it be an ad, whether it be a person with a lot of followers who's posting about pants they're wearing. It's all it is a business. You know what I mean? That's all what it is. So Once you get past the fact that it's not really real, everyone just has a specific motive, then it's a lot easier. For me, I'm barely TikTok, don't even have. We advertise. I don't even have TikTok.
Did you ever go down a TikTok rabbit hole?
Honestly, it hurts my brain.
Right.
The best social media platform there is out there is Twitter by a long shot. It's reading people's thoughts. It's almost like reading a book. People's thoughts, words, how they solve problems. It is the fact that you can connect with people on a deeper level. That's probably the best social media platform out there by far. But also argue. A higher IQ platform. Just the level of intelligence there is bar none versus you go on TikTok and it's just there may be intelligence there, but it's short form content, quick 15 seconds as to how to do XYZ. It's just different how people consume content. So, anyways, it's a net, I would say it's a net positive because you get to connect with people from all across the world, but you got to be mindful of it. You got to be able to set some time aside, understand when you're on it for too long, put your phone down, have real conversations with real people. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's a good message for anybody. And as we start to wind things up, any final thoughts, any final messages we want to get out to people today about the social media world?
Well, I think more about again, if you're going to do that stuff, don't lose your focus. I recommend people to just do a drill for a week, and that is sit down and decide what is important to you, and then write down the skill set that you're going to do to accomplish what is important to you. That could be anything, right? But you have to have a few things. One is the visualization of what you're trying to get at, and have a very clear visualization of it, and then write it down how that looks like, and even take a picture of it. and post it, I don't know, on your mirror, wherever you see it first thing in the morning, and just try to change what's in your mind. The only person that's going to do that is you. We use this podcast to motivate, educate, demotivate people. But at the end of the day, take it for what it's worth. And it's like, use the tools to do what you're trying to accomplish, and then go back to it. And on a scale of 1 to 10, realize, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where are you at right now on accomplishing that task? But I could tell you that if you start to do that, it's going to generate your mind to start the wheels rolling. You know what I mean? You're always going to have obstacles. Even as, us entrepreneurs, we're driven. We run across obstacles every day, all the time. But one thing is we can deflect pretty easy because we've experienced it. If we didn't know this and shared our experiences, we probably wouldn't know how to do it as good. So now that we're sharing that with others, I think it'd be a great drill for people to do, and then give us the comments, write us back. If you want help, people make thousands of dollars on courses for this. We're giving it absolutely free.
Yeah, so it's a question.
Yeah.
Like, just ask. But no one wants to ask because everyone's nervous.
Yeah, because everybody's scared, and a lot of people live with a lot of stress. So what people don't understand is that, we all have stress, but people live in some deep stressful moments every day, and what happens is their brain is always in defense mode. Like, imagine some bully, okay, every day woke up, it's like, I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna beat you up. How you would go out throughout your day, holy shit, some guy's trying to beat you up, that'd be your thought process. That's what happens when people are stressed. Your body is in defense mode all the friggin' time. So you gotta change that because it'll start to eat away at you. Stress is a big killer, man.
Joe, I'm sure you must have a brutally honest take on what you've heard here today to send people away with, whether it's the social media or what Tony just mentioned there.
He knows about stress.
Well, what is stress, Tony?
Well, stress is
I don't believe in stress.
Yeah, I believe in it.
Very stressed. Do you look?
I believe it. I believe it's just because stress, there's good stress where a challenge, but you're fulfilling a positive outcome of it. That's a good stress. It's good to be, but stress is where I think people have lost their identity of who they truly are and what they're truly capable of.
When did that word come out? Which year?
What word?
Stress.
Well, I don't know when it came out.
I never heard of it before the age of 30.
Yeah.
So what's that? 90s? Mid-90s?
Sounds right.
Yeah. Well, that's because as things got tougher and people expected expectation. Well, look at depression. Look at all the depression that's come out now because we have everything, right? So again, going back to the way we started the show, when you have to work for it, you appreciate stuff. When the world's not the way you think it is, you explore it. But when you think it's a fairy tale world out there, then you know what? You expect it. You think you're entitled. And that's the problem. That's where it started to break.
I think everybody's living in that world right now. That generation is all living in that world.
Yeah.
That fairy tale world. Everybody wants the big car, the big job. Even the young ladies, they want the man that's making,
True.
6 digits. That's what's happening,
And that's why people are stressed because not everybody can have that.
No, and the suicide and the mental issues and all that, it's all caused. I'm telling you, shut it all down for, COVID did one good thing, right? The only thing it missed is taking away media for those 2 years. Just take away media for 2 years. When we had the COVID, the blackouts, just wipe everything out. Put back the horses and buggies and let people understand what it is.
Can you imagine that though? The media out for a year straight?
Be great.
That'd be a business.
Be great.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Let's think about Allan for a second.
No, but think about it. You wouldn't hear about the war that's happening over there, and you wouldn't hear about the disease that's happening down there. These people are adding more stress into your life.
Yeah.
All right. Let's call it quits there, ladies and gentlemen. First, we want to say thank you very much for the time and the expertise of Allan today. And
Thanks, Brad.
for how people, let's try that again. How can people get a hold of you? Because you obviously have, you have the expertise, but you also seem to have a sense of
come and see him 6 o'clock in the morning every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's exactly right.
Tony always has to throw it out there.
Yeah, you can reach out to me. Reach out to me by email, allan@portamedia.com, or go to our website, portamedia.com, or find me on Twitter at Allan J. Porter. Yeah, happy to connect.
Thank you again, Allan. We appreciate it. Tony? enjoy the week.
Yes, that was great. So hopefully people can go out there and start doing those exercises. I want some feedback. As it's a good test for me to like motivate a lot of the people out there.
We're obviously available everywhere, podcasts can be found. And I say this just because some people might be watching on YouTube, some people might on the audio side. Easy way to do it. If you want to go to YouTube, our YouTube channel there, you just leave comments, feedback, things you'd like to hear us talk about here on the program. Easy peasy, as they say. With that, we'll take our lead. Joe, have a great week.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you
You
next
as
time.
well.
Yeah. And
Joe's going to go have a cigarette right now and a coffee.
It's okay. Fine.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you for being with us this week on Building Bodies, Strengthening Minds, and we shall talk to you next time.